dive into your career, because over 26 years working in live TV, how much were you making on some of your shows, some of the big ones?
Well, the biggest show, I think, was 500,000 in an hour.
Wow.
Anne Dawson, 26 years selling live on TV, generating thousands of sales for some of the biggest brands in the country.
Now, she's teaching business owners how to sell with the same skills.
There's no way you could possibly have believed in everything you were selling.
What do you mean by believe?
I guess believe that it's a good product.
But that doesn't mean I have to believe in everything. Do you believe that anybody can sell?
Yes would be my first response.
I would probably say the 99 closing techniques, the 7 ways of handling objections, the 19 ways of doing this. I just think, shut up. And I do believe that to be good at sales, you've got to be We were launching Zumba in the Zumba days when that was all the big thing.
That was the trend.
I fell in love with that. The next minute in my ear, the producer, she was like speechless. It's gone nuts. We sold 400%. in that hour of what we should have done. You're not going to tell me that every time you've sold something you felt good about it.
Today is your birthday.
Oh.
How are you feeling today as you reflect?
Oh my goodness. I will be totally honest here. It was like jumping out of a plane last year.
Anne Dawson, welcome to the show.
It's so good to be here.
You are literally a class act. I just need to say, if I think back to when you spoke on our stage, Business Mastery Live, last year, I think in equal parts, you gave really good value and also was one of the best live comedy acts I've ever seen.
Do you know, that was just hilarious.
You were.
Well, no, I don't know that I was.
You were.
I came off that stage, Matt, and so many people said to me, "Oh, you should do stand up."
And do you not see that?
No, I'm thinking, I'm trying to start a business here, and you want me to go down auditioning at the comedy club? I'm thinking, no, I'm trying to start a business. But so I'm really pleased you actually said there that there was value in it as well.
In equal parts, or maybe 60% comedy. No, literally, that is the point. You do both so well, and it's what makes you so endearable, so endearing, so relatable. And I think people want that right now, especially in the online space where we've seen all the people posturing, saying, if you be like me, you can be amazing at sales and all that kind of stuff. To just see somebody with a sense of humour that is down to earth, that is genuinely funny, whether you know it or not, you are. That's what people want. So let's dive into your career, because over 40 years in sales.
Yeah.
Over 26 years working in live TV, presenting and selling on QVC.
Yeah.
How did you get into that route? How did you start?
How did I start to get into QVC? Well, I was in sales. I was doing a lot of corporate work, corporate contracts and everything. And I don't want to backtrack too much, but I used to want to get into acting. That was my passion from a little girl. Wanted to be on the stage. I wanted to be the next Bette Davis. I really thought she was just amazing. And of course, 99.9% of your audience will have no idea who I'm talking about.
Including the host.
You don't know who Bette Davis is.
I know the name.
You know the name? Oh, for goodness sake. We're now back into the black and white movie. She was a genius. She was amazing. And she played the villain a lot. And I really loved that. I loved performing, all the rest of it. And I used to want to get on the stage. And then, of course, my dad, I remember, he said to me, I was very good in drama at school and was going to go down that route. And my drama teacher said, you need to go to RADA, you'll smash it. And my dad said to me at the time, well, I won't do the accent, but I've already got the accent, but it was a lot rougher than this one. He said to me, if you think I'm going to support you while you go and hug a tree for 3 years, he said, you can think again. And I just thought, well, that's not the reason I didn't go. I decided going off to France and, picking grapes and doing other things was more important at the time. And then,
I feel like there's a story there, but we'll
yeah,
park
but
it
we're
for a
not
minute.
way up.
Okay.
Yeah, but then, life happens and relationships happen and children come along and I'd gone into sales by that time, and I was in the corporate world, but I thought, at the grand old age of 33, I thought, well, I've clearly left it too late for acting. So what's the next best thing? And I thought, oh, you could get into presenting. And I thought, what's the best way of getting in? This was me. Honestly, I kid you not. I remember I was doing the ironing and I thought the best way to get into presenting is to get into sales training, because that could lead me down a public speaking path. So the brain was kind of like going down all these rabbit holes. And so I went and I worked for Bupa. I was selling for Bupa. And then they offered me a job in their training department, where I was training the salespeople how to sell. So that was cold calling as well as, you know, in the field. And I did that. And then with my third child, I got pregnant. Obviously, I was pregnant with my third child. My third child, I got pregnant. That's normally the way you do it. And basically what happened was I took maternity leave. And when I went back, he's like, it was a bit conniving, really, or not conniving, that's the wrong word, calculating. Let me put it that way.
Intentional.
Oh, intentional, but that's a very today word, isn't it?
It's a nicer way of saying it. Calculating isn't the nicest way, is it?
No, I mean, it's the real way. I mean, I worked it out. I calculated it out, and I thought, do you know, it's like... Well,
right, you can have the word, Anne.
Right,
we'll stick
thanks.
with it.
Calculated, intentional. That just makes me feel, hey, I'm intentional. Well, so what are you doing when you're not intentional? Sorry, we're going off down another rabbit hole.
Let's stay on.
Anyway, it was calculated because I knew they had a lot of work on in the training department. And I went in and but my goodness, it was a bit like jumping out the plane, because I said to my manager, he said, so we're really looking forward to you coming back. And I was like, oh, well, I'm not coming back. I said, I've decided to leave. And he looked, he said, oh, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to go into sales consultancy. And he looked at me and he knew, he said, you've got me over a barrel. He said, can I offer you your first contract?
Wow.
And I was like, this is so paid off, because that's what I was hoping you would say.
Wow.
And that's what got me down that road. But he could have turned around and went, yeah, well, all the best.
Off you go.
And then I'd have been like, but
well done.
No, but yeah, it was quite scary. But so that's what led me into consultancy, getting my own contracts, but always within the corporate world. But I still didn't let the presenting go out go off the radar. And
it was almost like that was still the vision, the destination.
So I was doing public speaking then, and I did a lot of they used to do these personal development things at Earl's Court. I'd get up on the stage there. I was up there again last year. It's like full circle.
Amazing.
But I was doing things like that, and, had interviews with the BBC, radio interviews about what I was going to be speaking about. And it was very women focused. It was very, you've never left it too late. I mean, it makes me laugh now. That was like 30 odd years ago.
Yeah.
And I wasn't at QVC at this point. It was the days of fax. Does anybody know what I'm talking about here?
Yep, just.
Fax machine, just. Right. Anyway, I was in this thing where I used to receive a fax every Friday about presenting jobs. And it was all about, being on, I don't know, some kind of Financial Times thing, whatever. And I thought, well, that's not me. And then one day I was at a hotel and the fax came through and I picked it up and it said, presenters for QVC, the shopping channel. It said, sales experience, a benefit, but not essential. And I just thought, that's my job. That's my job there. And then I thought, I've got it. I phoned up. They were holding open auditions over 2 days. I think there was about 200 or 250 on the one day and the same on the next. It's the only time they've ever done that. Maybe there's a reason for that we could come on to in a minute. But I thought, yeah, so I phoned up. I had my slot and I went toddling off. I phoned my mum. And I said, Mum, I've got a new job. And she said, oh, what are you doing? I said, I'm going to work on QVC. It's a shopping channel. She said, what's QVC? I said, I don't know. I've never seen it. I've never heard of it. But I'm going along for an audition. And my mum, being my mum, she was like, oh, that's nice. That's good. Let me know how you got on. So I was convinced I was going to get it. So I went in.
Why was that?
Well, that's me all over. I am the eternal optimist. I really am. Does that mean everything always goes my way? Well, of course it doesn't. But when I saw that, I just thought, that's mine. That's me down to a T.
Do you think that's essential for success in anything? And people call it delusional or positive delusion. Do you think you've got to have that level of belief in the outcome?
Well, it might be in my case slightly delusional, although it did happen. I think it's better that than the other way.
Right.
So if you're talking about, glass half full or half empty, you get, I do believe you get what you focus on. And you get, it's like steering a car, you go the way you're looking. Well, if I'm looking at a brick wall, I tell you what, I'm going to hit it with remarkable accuracy. Do you know what I'm saying?
Intentional.
Yeah, intentional. Calculated. I need to hit this brick wall. No, seriously. But yeah, so I went along for the interview, the audition rather, and then they were picking 6 people back for a second audition in the, we were going to be in the studios with the bits on and all the rest of it. And I got the phone call to say that I was one of the 6 being brought back. And I had a teeny weeny mobile phone there, one of those flip ones, and it had like Diamante on it, and I was really chuffed with it. I thought it was dead jazzy. Anyway, I dropped it to the floor and it smashed into smithereens. Oh, no. I was that excited. I grabbed somebody else's phone, got back on and went for the second one, and then the delusion kind of waned a bit. This was a different ball game, and I wasn't so sure. I came out and it was like, I really wanted it. I really, really, really wanted it. But
sometimes that energy is not always great, right? Because sometimes you want it too much, and that shows as almost like desperate. And also, I guess you're out of your comfort zone then, because as much as you'd been training sales, it's brand new.
Sat in this studio, with 3 cameras in front of me, somebody talking in my head, and products just being put in front of me, and me having to sell them in a non-salesy way. It's a challenge.
Did you struggle?
I don't think I did. I don't think that sounds a bit big-headed, but I only really wanted it when I came out. Going into it, I thought I had it. Doing it, I thought, no, this is good. This is working, and all the little bits, I thought it's going great. But when I left there, knowing they were looking at another 5 people
the doubt creeps
for 2 positions, then the doubt creeps in. But then I got the phone call. I was in the middle of a training session. I was like 40 regional managers from Barclays Bank. I was like, guys, take an early coffee break. I was just so, so happy, blown away.
What I find really interesting is you have got that real old school sales training. You're talking there about doing the sales calls, but I know also you've mentioned to me about literally going door to door. I mean, that's got to be some of the hardest sales training ever. What was that like?
Awful. Absolutely awful. The first time I went out with a guy who was meant to be showing me how to do it. I was like walking like 40 paces behind him. I was just thinking, the way you're doing this, I would never do that. It was so obvious, so in your face. And it was cringeworthy.
But almost like that's what he was taught, right?
But that's what he was taught, and that's what he was teaching me.
But you knew immediately that ain't going to be your way.
It's not me. But I'd left a really good job. A really, really good job before I went into that, because I didn't actually understand it was this direct sales environment. They'd done such a good sales job on me that I didn't really know my job. And I went in the interview for this sales job. This guy was telling me, I could be a millionaire in the next 10 seconds. And I'm looking, and it was in an office in Victoria, and he had a broken, smashed window behind it. And I'm thinking, if that's the truth, why are we here? Why are we here? But still, it's that belief. No, it's that optimism. No, this is going to work. I'm going to make this work. And then when I got into it and I found out this is just so different, I thought, I cannot go back to everybody that knows I've got this great job that I thought I had and fail miserably. So I thought, I'm going to be good at this. I'm going to nail this. And as soon as I'm good at it, I'm getting out and going and doing something else.
And that's what you did.
And that's what I did.
I'm just going to take a pause a minute because I need to tell you about literally one of my favourite people in the business space ever. Jo Simpson. A lot of you who listen to the show may already be aware of Jo, but you probably don't know just how incredible she is. Jo is the founder of JK Business Services and also the profitable CEO. Now, I just knew Jo as this really lovely person who is great at networking, connecting you to people and opening doors for other business owners. But she's also so much more than that. For over 24 years, Jo has been running a successful accountancy and bookkeeping practice, supporting ambitious business owners across the UK. Her specialist accounting team works primarily with online, retail, and service providers. So they truly understand how modern day entrepreneurs operate, including things like digital launches through to creating recurring revenue in your business. But Jo does not just focus on compliance. She helps business owners think like CEOs so that they can actually increase profitability, smooth out that cash flow, and have a business that actually pays them well. If you've ever wondered how much you should actually be earning in your business to fund the lifestyle that you want, cover all your taxes, and create sustainable profit, you're in luck, my friend, because Jo has actually created a completely free tool to help you work that out right now, this second, and it's really exciting to do it. Her target income calculator will show you exactly what your revenue needs to be right now to actually get that take-home income that you want. But more than that, when you download it today, you'll also receive her Profit First Manager tool, also completely for free. What that's going to help you do is create a smarter cash flow system right now. So head to the link below and enter the code SUCCESSCHOOL, all one word in uppercase, to go and download your free copy right now and start taking control of your numbers like a true CEO. You will not regret it, and either way, you just need to go and connect with Jo. She's blooming amazing and she will change your business and your life. So just go do it. Right, there we go. Back to the episode. So then fast forward to QVC. 26 years doing it.
My first show.
Tell us.
On my first show, because you're there for a month or so and you're watching what's going on, but nothing beats sitting in that chair. And you've done all your kind of rehearsals and all the rest of it, but this is going to be live. And I can tell you the producer, I remember the director, and I remember sitting in this studio with a gold curb chain on a bust in front of me. I mean, this was a long time ago, so we tend to have better studios and nicer sets and everything. This was really scary. And they were saying, okay, Anne, you're all right, okay, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, all the rest of it. And then I heard the music coming up, the QVC music. And then I heard my director going, okay, Anne, so coming to you in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, Q Anne. And I opened my mouth and I honestly thought I was going to throw up over that gold curb chain. Sorry, that's a bit graphic for your, well, actually it's probably not,
it's
but
tame.
It's quite tame really. But I really did think, and then I opened my mouth and I don't know what came out, but I didn't throw up and I got through it, but it was by far the hardest thing I'd ever done. I was so relieved when it was over. And unlike other jobs, it's not like, when you've got a few under your belt. I honestly reckon anybody going into QVC, not as a guest presenter, but as a host, as a full-time presenter at QVC, I think it takes you at least a year to 18 months to get your head around everything that can go wrong, all the people talking to you, listening to your guests, being told this, that, and trying to sell something at the same time. It's a wonderful experience. It's an incredible skill set. And I get very defensive about people saying, oh yeah, that's just talking. Mm-hmm. Do you think you can just talk for 26 years and a multi-billion pound industry is going to keep you in front of the camera? You have to be hitting your targets.
I guess it keeps you sharp because it's almost like you've got 4 or 5 brains all having to work at the same time,
And
right?
now I haven't even got one. No, I'm joking. No, I'm only joking. Yeah, no, absolutely.
So it keeps you
is
really present and sharp.
multi-skilled. Yeah, yeah.
How many people were watching at the peak?
I have no idea.
You never known.
No, my mum was watching.
So there was at least one.
There was at least one. It's not measured. QVC. They probably do know, but a lot more now than there was then. But what they measured it on sales.
Yeah.
They measured it. It's like, who cares? It's like,
And
that's
you know
the
what some
equivalent
of the big
of
days
social
were?
media. How many likes? How many this?
Yeah.
But it sounds very
How much money are we
intentional.
making? Yeah.
But how much money are we making here? We're in here for a business, and QVC's no different.
And how much were you making on some of your shows, some of the big ones?
Well, the biggest show, I think, was 500,000 in an hour.
Wow.
And that was about 24 years ago. And that was insane.
Yeah.
And that was at 11 o'clock on a Sunday morning. And at midnight, the night before, the presenter who was launching that offer, I don't think they've ever done it since. It was £1 million in that hour. She did.
Mm.
And I was next in line with 500,000. Obviously, everybody was waiting till midnight. That night, when that offer went out live, it broke everything.
What was it?
It sold out faster than, and that's not me being like my usual sense of humour. No, but than the Madonna concert. It was just insane. It was about £118 or something worth of Molten Brown. I think we were selling it for £24.
Oh my God.
And
So it was what we call a no-brainer for people.
absolutely. Absolutely. But that was the adrenaline. One of the best, most exciting sales, though, that I did was when Alicia Dixon, she won Strictly with, can we edit this bit out? Matt somebody or other. Can't remember, but he was one of the professional dancers.
Yeah.
And we were doing Zumba. We were launching Zumba in the Zumba days when that was all the big thing.
That was the trend.
And they thought it'd be a good idea for me to do Zumba. I have no idea because I was hardly dancing about the studio. Anyway, they said, do you want to do Zumba? So it was DVDs we were selling. And it was the big craze and all the rest of it. So I was like, yeah, be a good opportunity to get fit and everything. So I was doing my Zumba in the house. I also was going to every Zumba class that I could go to. In fact, there's a guest presenter at QVC that used to run Zumba classes. I used to just follow her around. I was like, honestly, she could have had me arrested. Every class she was doing, I was there. It was like stalking her. But I fell in love with that. Not just because I knew I was selling it, but I was launching it. It was the big offer every day, called a TSV. In those days, launched from midnight to midnight. So it came, it's live. And I was doing the moves, and this was another talent because then I had to dance, do the moves alongside all the other dancers, keep my step,
Wow.
and still sell. So we didn't know how this was going to go because we'd never really done a dancey thing before. So we went, and then the next minute in my ear, the producer, bless her, she was so lovely. She was like, Anne, she was like speechless. It's gone nuts. Wow. It's gone nuts. 10 minutes in, she said, we're limited stock. That meant the entire day's stock, we had less than 10% left. It was going mental. Then they got more in as we were dancing. They were calls to America, getting more of the stock in, securing more. It was just amazing. And it ended up selling, we sold 400% in that hour of what we should have done. It was just insane. Sorry.
That's incredible. And just hearing you speak there, you can hear the passion, and you can also hear like how seriously you took it, and you're there doing the classes. I know for you, as somebody who knows you, that integrity is huge for you, and selling with integrity is a massive part of your ethos. However, some people might think all those years selling a wide variety of different things on TV, people might say, well, there's no way you could possibly have believed in everything you were selling and genuinely, thought it was a good product. What's your response to that? As somebody presenting a show like that, did you believe in everything you sold?
What do you mean by believe in everything you're selling?
I guess believe that it's a good product, that it's valuable, that it's delivering what it says.
Okay, I'm going to sound like I've very much still got my QVC hat on.
That means you're going to interview me.
No, no. That means I'm going to turn to the camera. That means that I don't believe there are products, obviously, that are better than others. Would I buy everything? Absolutely not. But that doesn't mean that I have to believe in everything. Now, you get very suspicious if you're watching the television and you're an avid QVC fan, and you know that Anne Dawson loves her Elemis. And then Anne Dawson goes on with Estee Lauder one day and says, this is my favourite moisturiser. Right. You will get called out on that immediately.
So it's about honesty.
It's about honesty. And for me, it is about integrity. Now, and that's not to... That was me doing it. Right. That was me doing it. I wouldn't say I loved something if I didn't think it was a great idea. But so many times, and I do believe that to be good at sales, you've got to be a flipping good buyer. I would be looking at it with presenter's eyes, whatever the product was. I mean, it could be wipes for cleaning your glasses, or it could be a Dyson hairdryer, whatever, or any other make of hairdryer for that matter. It could be whatever it is. But I would look at it, right, okay, so maybe that. I'd be looking at what I was going to say about it. But when I got on air and I'd be talking about it and I'd be talking to the guest about it, I would be like, this is brilliant. I'd be like, I need at least 4 of these. Yeah. No, but you do. But that was because I did believe in it. Now, when it came to fashion and I was selling something, and I would honestly look at it and I'd be thinking, I wouldn't empty the bin wearing that. Yeah? Yeah?
So what do you do then?
Somebody else will be out there watching that thinking that is the best thing I've ever seen. I absolutely love that. I love the colour. I love the print. I love the style. I love the design. That's who I'm talking to.
Because it's subjective, right? What one person loves, another hates.
Totally. So I would say, if you're watching today and say, for example, this bright pattern, this bold, like a really bold pink, is something that you love. You love it because it's vibrant. You love it because it's bold. You love it because you feel that this makes a statement about who you are, then we've got something for you. If you love the if you love it, I'm not saying I love it.
Yeah.
I'm saying, I'm talking to the person out there who think, you're talking to me, Anne? Yeah, I love that. In fact, I'm going to order 2 sizes because I don't know which one's going to fit me. Because I know I've got my 60-day money-back guarantee. Gosh, it's like, get the cameras on me.
She's back. She's back, folks.
Yeah. Oh, dear. Yeah. But yeah, that's... So... And also, I remember way back, just a very quick word on that, in terms of integrity. It was I always wanted to sell with integrity anyway. I want to put my head on my pillow at night and know I've done a good job, irrespective of the number of units.
Even back to doing the door-to-door, you were straight away going, I ain't doing it that way.
No.
That doesn't work.
Absolutely. It's got to ring true with you. And I remember in the days, this was before we were getting, like, from the viewers, we were getting... the likes of emails and stuff like that. This was back in the old envelopes that your fans would be writing you letters. And I remember getting a letter from a 90... I don't know why I was going quiet there. It's as if this is a secret because nobody else is listening. Nobody can hear me. No, I got a letter from this 92-year-old woman who said to me, Anne, I just wanted to thank you. The other day when you were selling this mop, I was nearly buying it until you said... that it was quite a heavy mop. And I'm really pleased you said that because then I went on and chose another one. And she was writing to tell me that. Now, that was the approach with the sale. I remember that mop. I could actually remember, and I remember standing thinking, this is a good mop, but it weighs a ton. So I thought, I need to address that. So I was like, if you are after, the mop of all mops, it's really going to, we're talking industrial strength. However, if that's not you, or maybe you're struggling a bit with dexterity or whatever, then this is not the mop for you. We've got other mops on our website, blah, 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 blah. But she really appreciated that. And that, I never forget that. That really made me think, that made me happy. That made me think, no, this is good. This is how this is how you do it.
And it's a responsibility you carry in that position, right? Yeah. And it's one that you obviously carried really well and thought about with the integrity. You said there a moment ago that if you're not a good buyer, you're probably going to struggle to be good at selling. Do you believe that for a lot of business owners that might be listening right now, that they are, we would say in the North, tight with money and they don't like spending and they're always penny pinching? Do you think from a psychology standpoint that then that's going to play into how they sell?
Of course it will, because automatically they're coming from that mindset. They're coming from a mindset of, it's like, boy, you're really going to have to convince me to prize this money out of my hand or to open my fingers to get access to the credit card. How on earth are you going to come across when you're selling your goods to people? If that's the approach you take when you're buying something, you're going to take the same approach when you're selling to somebody else, and they might not need that.
Right.
I don't like it. Look, if I want to buy something, here's my money. I don't want somebody... Just before you do that, just before you book that cruise, I want to tell you how many swimming pools. I don't give a monkey's how many swimming pools I'm sold. I want to do it. Take my money. And I think the whole thing with sales, you need to work out where somebody is on the buying model. Now, obviously you can't do that at QVC because you're not speaking to them, you don't know. So it's a different skill set. You have to come in at different... You know how you close the sale and people talk about closing? On QVC, you open it. You give as many people as possible the opportunity. So this is for you of this is for you of that, this is this. You open up the possibilities. Whereas when I'm with you, I'm going to be asking you questions and then I'm going to be responding to your answers. And some people don't listen. And I hate that. It's like a lot of salespeople don't listen. It's one of the best skills that you can master. Because if you don't hear you can't hear what people are saying, you're in your own head. And you just wait you've asked a question because it's part of your sales pitch, and you're waiting. It's like, right, hurry up and answer me because I know what my next question is. Because I've already got you pegged. So you're going to say that, then I'm going to say that, then you're going to say that. It's like, I think I've said this to you before, it's like acting, which is a passion.
Yeah, it's listening.
Yeah, I worked with a great guy in the States only a couple of years ago, teaching me. And he used to give us scripts, and you were allowed to read through it once. And then you just had to learn your own lines.
Brilliant.
You were not allowed to look.
Brilliant.
So when it came to rehearsing, you felt sick to the pit of your stomach, but then you were in the moment, because I knew that, say I had to start off with, "Hi Matt, how are you doing today? I haven't seen you since such and such." I'd have to really listen to what you were saying and the way you were saying it, and it was much more believable. And that, I think, is missing from sales.
We have spoke about this before, because I remember a time when I was training to be an actor back when I was probably 16, 17. And I can remember one play that I was in particular, and the woman that I was opposite said her lines the same every single time. And I used to purposely completely play with my delivery just to test, just be like, can we actually get, because there might be a line like, I don't know, "screw you" might be the line. And you could go, "Oh, screw you." Or you could go, "Screw you." Or you could go, "Screw you." And it didn't matter what I did.
She did this.
She would do this. And it's such a wildly different thing. And that's the same with sales. And I've had it in sales, two things. I've had it where people presume it's a lot of money to me when it isn't. Where somebody will go, "I know it's a lot of money, pal." And I'm like, why are you assuming that?
Yeah.
Because again, that's projecting their money mindset onto mine.
And also it's judgment.
Absolutely. It's an assumption.
It's an assumption. I'm assuming by whatever you've said, who you are, what you do, that you can't afford this.
And is that's the tip then? Don't ever assume.
Don't assume.
And listen more than you speak.
Never assume I've got a wee story about that. It's got nothing to do with stables, but I will just interject it very quickly about not assuming. I, many years ago, was looking to buy a property in Italy. And I was going out to southern Italy because it was the only place I could afford to buy a property because they were dirt cheap down there. And I wanted to do it up. So I went over there for a few days. He was from Manchester. And this guy who looked like, he did look the whole sleaze bit. When I got to where I was meeting him, he had the slick back hair and the shades on. It was February and it was raining, and he was like, "Ciao Bella, I thought you're from Manchester. I'm from Glasgow. You can keep your ciao Bella." Anyway, and also I'm far too old to be being called ciao Bella. Anyway, we sat down. He was watching the football. I had my folder of the different properties I wanted to see, and he was just like, I don't know, like I didn't exist. And then he went, "Oh, and I can give you, we're going to see some properties tomorrow," like totally ignored the ones I wanted to see. And he was like, "And I can do things like, teach you a bit of Italian, like, coltello, forchetta, knife and fork and things like that." I thought, you've not even asked me if I speak Italian. You've assumed. So I let him crack on. He hooked up with the estate agents the next day. I was in the back of the car and here I'm listening. And it's like, yeah, she works on TV. She's probably got money, so scrap going to that one. Let's go to this one. Let's take her to this. I let it go. On about the third or fourth day it was a couple. We were traveling quite a distance to their house. So he got in the front with the guy who was driving, and the wife got in the back with me, and she was just smiling. And then she said, "Do you speak any Italian?" And I said, "Just a bit, not a lot." And she said, "Is your husband, has he been?" I said, "No." I started talking. And this guy, Tony, his name was, just turned round and glared at me. And he went, "You?" And then it was a bleep. And I just laughed and I said, "Never assume, Tony, never assume." He then, that moment of realisation that I'd heard everything. I'd heard everything he'd said about me.
Been mortified.
Yeah, I was loving it for 3 days. So I thought, I didn't know I was going to get my opportunity. I'd have probably come away and not let on.
And you'd never know.
Yeah, but never assume. But that's down a rabbit hole there. I digress somewhat.
So we all know that everybody is talking about AI right now. And we all know it's not going anywhere anytime soon. In fact, it's very much here to stay. Not just in our lives, but importantly, in our businesses. But if you're anything like me, you might just be feeling a little bit overwhelmed with it all, not really knowing what you need to be focusing on, what you need to do, or who to trust to give you the right advice. Well, do not worry, my friend, because I have a very good friend. If you're a regular listener to this show, you'll know she's already been on this podcast. She's been speaking in our membership, and she has been helping us develop our AI tools in Success School. The one, the only, the incredible Rebecca Whitney. Now, from my experience, when you see most courses around AI, they just move really fast, they use really complicated jargon, and it's taught in a way that feels like you already have to be an expert just to know what they're talking about. Rebecca Whitney is the complete opposite. And that is why I highly recommend her AI to Scale Accelerator. She doesn't use the complicated jargon, it's easy to follow, it's broken down step by step, and it will help you understand how to utilize AI in your business in a way that enables you to be able to truly scale. Now, if you're already a member of our Success School membership, you may just be familiar with a very fun, amazing chatbot called Matbot, my very own AI chatbot that we have. Now, we have been getting incredible feedback from people who have been talking to Matbot. For those who are not familiar, it's basically taken all my information, everything I teach, all my masterclasses, all my podcasts, and also my yet to be released full book that I've written. It has all this knowledge, and people have access to chat with the AI version of me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So if you've got that idea at midnight or 1 a.m. and I'm in bed asleep, which hopefully I will be, you can still get access to the kind of guidance that I might give you. It's been really successful, basically. People rave about Matbot, and Rebecca is the brains behind creating Matbot. In her AI Accelerator, she will teach you exactly how she creates those kinds of things and how you could do the same for your business too. So basically, if you want to now finally grab hold of AI and truly understand how to use it, Rebecca and her team will teach you the systems that you truly need to know. And what is really lovely is because you are a friend of ours and a listener of this show, she is giving you the first 30 days into this accelerator completely for free. You know what you need to do? Head to the show notes below this episode right now, click that link, sign up, and start mastering AI today.
You spoke about the buyer journey, and also, as you say in there, don't assume, ask the right questions. So if somebody's listening now and they're like, okay, how do I do selling well? What is that buyer journey? What are the sort of questions they could ask? And I guess equally, what are some of the big mistakes you see people making when it comes to selling?
Well, I think the whole thing does, or for me, a huge part of that does evolve around listening. Yes, you can have a structure, but don't have a script. Don't have a script, because people have the nasty habit of interrupting you. And I used to see that at QVC. We'd go on with the guest. So say you're selling these wonderful microphones, and I would say, Matt, it's great, you're here. So tell us about this. You'd start to tell us about it. And then I'd go, so how difficult is it to rig this up to the desk then? Will it go on any table? Something along those lines. And I've totally thrown you, because you had it ready. That bit comes later. And you've asked me about that bit now, and it's totally thrown me. That's because you're working off a script in your head. And that can happen in any sales conversation. So the way I see it, and I think when I got up for my comedy club audition in Leeds at your event, I briefly touched on that, although I never got through half my slides. It's like snakes and ladders. That's the way I like to explain it.
Yeah.
So that's your buying model. You have to throw the dice, and you have to see where people are at. So, for example, if I was selling double glazing, there we go. I haven't actually sold that. One of the things I haven't sold in my life. We don't do it at QVC. Double glazing, for example, I would want to know where you are in the buying process. So if I start saying to you, so Matt, in terms of your double glazing, are you looking at, double glazing the whole house or just half the house? Is it just the ground floor or I'm assuming quite a bit there. I'm jumping up, but that's not too bad. You could then pull me back by going, well, I'm not there yet. And then I have to meet you where you're at. It's all about asking questions to find out, can we go up a ladder or are we back down a snake here? So I might say to you, what made you think now? I believe you've lived in this house for 14 years. What's prompted you now to kind of revisit this or look at double? I'm sure it's not the first time you've considered it. What's made you think seriously about it now? And you'll be like, well, the bills we got last year, this, all right. So it's all about, and I'm taking you up. And then there could be a point where you go, yeah, but I haven't really got the money now. I can't really afford to do anything right now. So I can't then say, well, how do you want to pay for it? Shall we get you on a payment plan? I have to take you back. I have to take you right the way back to, so what you're saying is you do want to do it. It's the financing. And then I would go along from there and start looking at other ways that we can talk about financing it and all the rest of it. I know where I'm going, but I don't know any of that until or unless I'm listening to you. Is that the cardinal sin?
Is that you?
Has my phone just gone off? I can't believe it. We need to edit that out.
I'm keeping in. It's your birthday. You're going to get calls today.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Happy birthday to me. I can't believe that.
It's good. I mean, you're a pro, but you've been a year out of retirement.
Well,
right?
I never used to take my phone on the studio floor.
That's the problem then. That's the problem.
I'm so sorry.
It's all good. Let's talk about with integrity.
Yeah.
With integrity, what are the hard no's for you? Like things that maybe you've witnessed people do, or things you might have even been taught to do that you would just never do in selling?
Well, it's not really the sales people that I have an issue with, because they're doing what they've been taught. The ones that I take issue with, and quite a lot of issue with, are the sales trainers. They're the ones that are out there showing people how to sell.
But haven't they just been trained to say that too?
Yeah, but at some point you've got to put your big boy pants on and say, is this actually ethical?
And that's what you've done, right?
Is this the right way? Because you're not going to tell me that every time you've sold something, you felt good about it. There will be times, I guarantee, particularly if you're new to sales, that you would have come away from selling to a particular client and you would have been wondering, I wonder if they really can afford that. Did I really push a little bit too hard there? And like I said, I always want to be able to put my head on my pillow at night. You know, if I've made 5 sales, I'd rather have made 3.
So essentially, it's not pushing it on people. Your job when it comes to selling is about just purely figuring out if this is the right fit. It's not trying to push something on. Yeah.
It sounds so easy and straightforward. And in many ways it is. But I'd like to put a caveat there. Can anybody sell? What, can I throw that at you for a minute? Do you believe that anybody can sell?
Well, I guess yes would be my first response. But I also think, so there's things like, I think of like talent, charisma, personality types. I think there's certain things, it's like we call it the X factor, don't we? So I always use singing as an example. I think if you absolutely can't sing, you can go to lessons. You might be ever so slightly better, but you'll never be able to be a singer. You'll never be able to sing.
Yeah.
I wonder if sales is kind of similar. Like there's an element of...
Yeah, I think that's a very good analogy, actually. I would probably say I don't really think everybody can sell. I think everybody can be taught to sell, a bit like your singing analogy. But I think if you're acutely shy, you're a real introvert, you are, you know, fear of rejection, and everybody's got that to a certain degree.
Right.
But if you find it hard striking up conversations with people, you're probably not in the right job. I'm just saying it like I think it is. But if you are nervous, if you've never sold before, but you're a fairly outgoing person, yes, you can be taught to do that, but you can be taught a number of ways to do that. And the ways that I maybe take a bit of umbrage with are the 99 closing techniques, the 7 ways of handling objections, the 19 ways of doing this, the 61 ways of getting somebody in a word headlock that they just cannot escape from. I just think, shut up. Sorry, I do. I just think, right, I'm going to be in the middle of a sale and I'm going to go, what were those 91 ways?
Yeah.
No. And if I am thinking that, I'm not listening to you, and then I'm in my head again. I need to be able to respond to you. I need to be able to relate to you. I need to know where you're coming from. Is it because you genuinely don't have the money? Is it because you genuinely don't like my product? Or you genuinely don't like me? Or the aspect of working with me just fills you with horror? That's a different question. Do you know what I mean? And I need to meet you where you are. And hopefully it won't be the others. It will be, there are genuine objections about money and readiness and all the rest of it. But I do believe that if you've done your job properly, and that's where the sales training comes in, if you've done your job properly, you would have knocked down those skittles at the beginning.
So talk to us about where you're at now, because obviously 26 years in QVC, you retire, and then you decide to work with me
Yes.
to get coaching on starting a business where you're now helping people with sales, with communication, with speaking.
Yeah.
Why? Why don't you just go off into the distance and enjoy life? Why are we still working so hard?
Again, integrity. No, I'm not in a position. I will be totally honest here. I'm not in that position. It was like jumping out a plane last year.
Tell us about what that's been like, that going from something so stable, so consistent, to then going into the online space and doing what you do now.
Well, for about a year or so beforehand, maybe a couple of years, I'd be thinking, I need to do something. This is whilst I was working at QVC. I should think about doing something. What should I do? And, I loved my acting, but that wasn't, that was probably more of a hobby then. I was in a few things and I flew off to the States and it was all very exciting and, you know, there was some good stuff there, but I thought I need to do something that generates an income. And I've been thinking, I don't know what to do. I must look into it. And then my mum died in 2007 and my brother was ill. He had paranoid schizophrenia, but other issues as well, and physical issues. And when she died, I brought him down to London. He didn't want to stay in Glasgow. I didn't want him staying in Glasgow. So I brought him down. He didn't live with me, but he lived very close by, like 3 doors down. And I looked after him for 17 years. And he died in October 2024. And so this is all very serious now, but when he died, I really had the stark realization of life isn't a dress rehearsal. Now, what am I doing? I have got a comfortable life here at QVC. I could carry on at QVC. It facilitates where I live. You know, my holidays, my running off with my expensive hobby, acting, and, you know, swanning off to Italy and all of that. But I thought, can I actually do something else? Can I actually jump out? I thought I could. You know me, man. I thought, I know I can do this. But I didn't really know what it was. And I thought, I need to start looking at building something alongside this. And then I came across you. And then, well, here we are. Well, it's not quite as straightforward as that. I signed up for your programs. And then I realized I'm going to have to make this jump. I can't do both at the same time. I need to be all in. Mm-hmm. And to be all in, I need to be out of QVC. Now, that's scary. That's really scary. But I made the decision. And believe it or not, this is what Wednesday. On Friday, this Friday, which will, I'm maybe not meant to be dating this, so we won't talk about that, nearly a year ago, that was my last day at QVC. And I came out there and I remember coming up to Bradford and I was chatting way late at night over a pizza or a plate of pasta or something.
We went to an Italian, didn't we?
We did indeed. And I knew I was in the right place because what I loved and what I've always loved about what you do is the community that you've got is really, really special. And I'd love to be more involved, but I'm running about like a headless chicken half the time. But I always feel it's a little bit like coming home. I liken that to my Elemis moisturiser. The Elemis guest always said that. She said, to say what you love, I said, it's like coming home. Because obviously we've got to try lots of different things at QVC. But when I went, I was like, oh, this is lovely. And I do feel that about your community when I hook up. It is like coming home. That is where it all began. And yeah, it was amazing. And so from August to October, I then got up on the stage. That's where it began. I did my first Zoom with some people from your community and some others as well. And then I went along into one-to-one mentoring, which I have to say I really enjoy as well. I really enjoy taking people through that one-to-one mentoring. And then in January, I had a bit of a light bulb moment. Somebody said to me, Anne, she wasn't Scottish. She didn't actually say Anne. She went, Anne, sorry. She said, why can't you just sell my stuff? And I'm like, I can't sell your stuff. What do you mean sell your stuff? And then somebody else said, yeah, can you not just go and sell it? I'm like, I can't rock up on everybody's platform going, hey, buy this and hey, buy that. And then somebody else said to me, but could you not help people sell what they do? And I thought, yeah, this is genius. This is genius. The studio, my happy place. So now what I do is instead of selling brands and products that weren't mine at QVC, I now bring people into the studio to sell their businesses so that they don't have to get in front of the camera. They can still do that, but they have got something whereby somebody else, for want of a really bad expression, is blowing their trumpet. And it's much easier to do that rather than, hey, I'm me and I'm brilliant and I'm this and hey, I'm that and whatever. I'm not saying that's what everybody does, and we have to be out there. And I know you're big on visibility, and it's so, so true. But I think it's actually nice sometimes for somebody to have something that lives on their website. Yep. So people are already looking for you, and then they hit play, and then I say, hi. Or I say, hi, welcome to True North with Anne Dawson. I'm here in the studio today with the wonderful Matt Hall. Matt has developed da-da-da-da-da, and then I do that, and I do all the calls to action.
So I love this concept. So just to be clear for anyone listening, because I think a lot of people need what you do, and as soon as they've listened to this episode, they need to message you, because you've got this incredible package where, first and foremost, they meet you online, they get to speak to you, you ask them questions.
Well, I find out
draw the story out of them, of their business, their brand, what it is they sell, their personal story. And then they get to come into the studio for a few hours and film. And obviously it gets edited down, but basically they get this piece of content that obviously they can create micro content off the back of it. It can go on their website, but where you make them sound like a superstar by interviewing them in the right way. And it's just, and obviously somebody with your expertise, experience, it's just such an incredible thing.
It's such a happy place, because it's not necessarily 26 years selling at QVC. It's 26 years getting the best out of people very quickly.
Right.
And establishing trust very quickly. So that's why they're talking to me, but then I'm talking to the camera saying, maybe that's you. Maybe you've had the experience, da-da-da-da. So Matt, how can they get in touch with you? Da-da. That's what I'm doing. So that is a skill set. There's no script, neither with me nor with them. I'm not going in there with a script. It has to be a natural conversation. And then people will look at Matt Hall and then they'll say, that's the guy I need to be working with. That's the guy who can help me get my online business. That's the guy who can teach me how to launch. And you get the long piece of content. Yes, you can micro whatever. Try to pretend I know what I'm talking about here. Micro content. But you get 4 social media ready reels. So they're like trailers. So they're like, showing you, and it's like, you can build up to this. You can put them out on social. There's something coming on my website, and drive people there. And then you've got loads of behind the scenes. And when I say loads, I mean, you've got probably enough in that for about a year, let alone your 45, 50-minute interview. And if anyone's going, but who's going to watch that for? It doesn't matter. Whether they watch you for 10 minutes or 15 minutes. If I'm looking for a painter and decorator at the end of the day, and I go on and I look at painter and decorators, and I come on a website, or I come on a couple, and I know that these 2 guys are in my area. They both charge the same. They both got the same level of experience. Everything's identical. Something is going to make me choose one over the other. And it comes down to that know, like, and trust. If somebody's got a cheeky wee video there, and I hit play and I don't see self-promotion, but I see somebody else, it gives it context. It's like, oh, what's this True North? Oh, they're being interviewed. Oh, who's interviewing
Gives
them?
It more credibility.
It's much more credibility. So,
but I think at the heart of it, what it's doing is coming back to that age-old principle that people buy from people.
Absolutely.
And you're putting the person there, and they get a feel for that personality. And it just means that they get an opportunity to actually know who they're buying from.
Can I just say something really quickly? One of the first people I had on there, first of all, she couldn't sell for toffee. She was like, when I met her, and she's like, oh, I think you might be able to help me. And I said, what do you do? She said, I take pictures of dogs. I take pictures of pets. And I thought, right. So we arranged the first kind of discovery call, as it were. And she comes on and she said, do you mind if my son comes on here for a minute? And I thought, no, I don't. I thought some 15-year-old was going to rock up and say, hi, I'm in the middle of studying for my key stage, whatever. And this like 30-year-old guy comes on and he's like, I'm here because my mum is so rubbish. And I was like, right. He said, she says she takes pictures of dogs. And I said, yeah. And he said she comes from 3 generations to royal photographers, pictures of the corgis, pictures, award-winning, international award-winning, teaches other. I was like, for goodness sake, women, this is phenomenal. The photos that she showed me were off the charts. I was so excited about interviewing her. I told her, I almost wanted to buy a dog just so that she could take pictures of it. I get so excited about whatever. People can be coming in talking about, I've had an accountant, I've had a lot of dry subjects that people think. I get so excited about what people are doing. And that's because they're excited about what they're doing. And I get the best out of them. So it goes back to that horrible outfit that maybe I wouldn't be emptying the bin wearing, but I know somebody else who will.
I just need to tell you about an absolutely flipping awesome person right now. Chantel Carter is a rapid transformational therapist. She's also a psychology graduate and she's a subconscious programming specialist. Now that's a mouthful, but basically it means she's very, very qualified and can help you. I've had the privilege of working with Chantel over this last year, and when we talk about people who lead with integrity and genuinely care about getting results for people, Chantel is the real deal. Chantel specialises in helping high-achieving female entrepreneurs actually get results. If you're the sort of person who knows you need to get more visible, but you procrastinate, you fear judgment, there's all these kind of mindset blocks, Chantel is the solution for you. For so many of us, we focus on getting the strategy, but the strategy will only work if we work on the inner work and do the mindset stuff. And basically, that is exactly what Chantel helps you do. Chantel is very unique in the way that she works because she blends RTT, neuroscience, and also practical nervous system regulation to help you overcome things like imposter syndrome, self-limiting beliefs, self-doubt, all that kind of stuff that holds us back. She will help you work through that so that you can actually move to that next level and start getting solid, consistent results. The key thing that Chantel does is she does the deep identity transformational work, which means that clients report leaving working with her feeling calmer, clearer, more decisive, and able to truly own the business that they want to own. If you're ready to stop just doing the surface level stuff and managing the symptoms and get to the root of what you need to do to truly move forward, Chantel, very simply, is the person you need to get in touch with. Go to the show notes right now. You'll find the links that you need for more information. Get in Chantel's world and allow her to truly help you. Now, let's get back to the conversation.
Folks, I think like if you know you need Anne in your life, I cannot speak highly enough of you. You're an absolute star. And at the heart of it, and it comes again full circle to what we spoke about at the beginning of this episode, is you're somebody who actually cares and you follow with integrity. And we're all bored of seeing sales training done wrong. And I think you are the antidote. You are the answer. You are the person that people need. Today is your birthday. Oh. Which is wild that you're here doing a podcast, but
I can't think of anything better.
Well,
really,
Anne, say it again. But I think like birthdays, for some of us, they're quite reflective times. As you reflect now, as we kind of come to the close of this episode, and you're a year effectively out of this long career, all the stuff you've done, but you took the plunge. You went down the entrepreneurial route and you've thrown yourself into it, and I have to commend you. You did absolutely go all in. How are you feeling today as you reflect and what you're doing now?
Oh, I know people say, oh yeah, well, she would say that. It is the best thing I've ever done because it's not a dress rehearsal. And I ain't going to be on my deathbed going, I wish I'd sold more Shark mops or any other make for that guy. But I'm not. And, I'm not saying I'm about to, pop my clogs anytime soon. Hopefully not. That's a long way off. But it is doing the most that I can with what I've been given. Oh gosh, that sounds so, I don't mean it to sound cringy, but we've all been given gifts and talents and abilities, but it's how we use them. It is how we use them. It's, you know, look, people could say, well, you're really funny, Anne. And I don't know whether that's true or that's not true. But yeah, I could go and tell a load of offensive jokes and maybe get paid for it. But I don't want to do that. I'm happy to make people laugh with me unconsciously. But I do want to be true to my own values. Integrity is the foundation of absolutely everything you do. And it's more than just honesty. It's more than just telling the truth. A lot of people think, oh, integrity, that's honesty. But there's more to it than that. It's very much been true to who you are. It really, really is. Can't remember the question now. How am I feeling?
How are you feeling?
Excited. I feel as if everything is taking me a year. I've done bits and pieces. I've got distracted. I've thought, what have I done? Been ripping my hair out. But overall, I know I've done the right thing. I know that I've done the right thing. And I'm excited about where I'm going. And you know what? If at the end of the day, if in a year's time, well, you probably wouldn't get me back on your podcast to say, well, I've now fallen flat in my face and I'm doing nothing and I've sold nothing. But if that was to happen, I would have tried. And I know we hear it all the time, but it's not about success and failure. I don't think it's about success and not trying. You can't fail if you try. You might not get what you were after, but you can't ever ruddy fail if you try. Sorry, I'm getting my soapbox out here. No, but you can't. Failure, to me, is not even trying. Playing it safe and wondering what if. Do you know what to replace what if with? Even if. So even if I fall flat in my face and lose everything, I'll be glad I tried, because who knows what could have happened.
Beautiful. And we've got a couple of questions now that I ask all guests just to finish the show.
That was them.
That was a great way to finish, but we're not done. We'll go quick fire.
Pulled out all the stops.
You did. That was a great.
I was thinking, no, that's where the music needs to come in. You know,
that was the motivational bit. But there's more in the tank. Okay. So last few questions. First one is, what is some of the best life advice you've ever received that you still live by today?
Oh my goodness. My mum used to have a saying. I didn't think I'd be saying this. I didn't know you were going to ask that one. But it's a saying that it sounds quite cynical, but I don't know whether it's coming from Glasgow or the north, that it's definitely a good thing to live by. She used to say, he's too good to be wholesome. He's too sweet to be wholesome. She was usually talking about relationships at that point. And it's the ability to see beyond the social media, to see beyond how many followers have I got or how many likes, or the next day is going to be dictated, my mood is going to be dictated by how many people have interacted with me, because I want to portray that I've got this life and make you jealous and make you envious because you want my life. Seriously? I don't know how many people would want. Maybe there are people out there that are mad enough to want my life. No, that's not true. There'll be a lot of people out there that maybe don't want necessarily my life, because I'm not flying first class or, designer this, that or the other. I do live in a nice house and I've got a fairly nice car, but I mean, it's not out there living the life. But I'm just me, and I just want reality. And so if I'm posting something, it will be real. Yeah. It will be real. And that, too good to be wholesome, I think that says a lot about social media. It's like, that's a bit too good to be wholesome. I can hear my mum in half of it. Nice.
Okay, flip side. What is some of the worst life advice that might have been well-meaning, but you've gone through your experience to know that's a load of rubbish?
Oh, the worst life advice. It's it's almost like the conflict of two sayings. There's almost like a one that counteracts every saying. Too many cooks, spoil the broth, and many hands make light work, and all the rest of it. But for me, it is that look before you leap. I did look, and he who hesitates is lost. That's the counter one. It's creating that marriage between the two of them. It's not, yes, I say I jumped out the plane last year, but I'm looking while I'm leaping. I'm just hoping that the ruddy parachute opens. No, I'm looking while I'm leaping. And I have said, what's the worst that can happen? And between what the worst that can happen and what's the best that can happen, there's also the most likely, but you'll never get there if you don't jump. Did that answer your question?
It was great.
Right.
Okay, the next one. I think quite often when we listen to experts on a podcast, we put them on a pedestal as they've got all the answers.
They won't be putting me
they've got all the knowledge.
Sorry, this is going to be the one that doesn't do that. No pedestals. I can't even see any. Oh, there's a plant there. Maybe I could jump on that. Right.
But the point is, I think it's important, as you do so brilliantly, to remind everybody that we're all human. We're all on our journey. We all have our flaws, our challenges, our struggles. So the question is, if you're happy to share, what is something that you're struggling with right now, and how are you working through it to overcome it?
Not looking too far ahead. Not looking too far ahead. Not judging Christmas by September. I think that's really hard. And you'll know this as well. There can be all sorts of things going on just now. Good or not so good. If it's not so good, you're like, oh my goodness, by Christmas I'll be on a cardboard box somewhere out in the street or whatever. And then if it's going well, you're thinking, well, I'll multiply that by 12. And this is my life. And it's not like that.
Yeah.
It's not like that. I think it's not, just live for today. You can't just live for today. If you live for today, you will be on beans and toast sitting in the cardboard box. You do have to think ahead. But don't be overly paranoid about, you don't know what's round the corner. Keep at it. Just don't give up. Oh gosh, that sounds so cringy, but it really is. Believe in you. Bet on you. Oh, Paddy Power or Ladbrokes or whatever. Would you bet on you? I'd bet on you, Matt Hall. Would you bet on... this is good here. Would you bet on me?
100%. And I always have.
Oh, bless your heart. Honestly, one of the best days was the day I met you. That sounds so gushy, but no, really. Because, I remember you said something to me. I didn't even know what it meant. You said, you're very self-aware. I thought, what's that even mean? I thought, well, clearly I'm not. Because if I don't even know what that means. But then, obviously, this was a new world to me. And then I did learn and I am. And I would take a bet on me. Are the bookies always right? No. On everything, maybe not. But I'd bet on you and I'd bet on me.
And this has been brilliant. Thank you so much. If people are hearing about you for the first time and they're like, I need Anne in my world, where can they connect with you? Where can they follow you? How can they get in touch?
Right. No, I'm kidding. I'm not going to do that. It's, if you're going on, I am on Instagram. I've got a mental block when it comes to LinkedIn because I'm on LinkedIn as well, but I can't even remember what that is. Instagram is at Anne Dawson TV. And the place to really get a hold of me is True North with annedawson.co.uk.
Yeah,
that's my website that you can get in touch with and find out about everything that I'm doing. True North, because why True North? Why do you think I called it True North? Sorry, we're finishing, I promise.
Have you told me?
I don't think so.
Is it to do...
What do you think?
Well, I guess there's a few ways I could go. You're from the North. You tell the truth. There's the North Star. Like, what is the real reason we're doing this?
Get to the top of the class, Mr. Hall. That is brilliant.
So I've not got the dunce hat on.
No,
I'm top of the class.
absolutely, because people think True North, and I've got in my logo, I've got this little North Star. It is about you being true to you, and everybody's True North is going to be different. Your True North will be different to my True North, but you've got to follow that. It is also about me following my True North, and it is also, thank you, I'm from the Ruddy North, if nobody had gathered that.
Beautiful. And final question that I ask all guests is, what is your personal definition of success?
Oof, I know you've done this before in your 7 zillion podcasts. You can tell I never work off a script, but I'm pretty sure on this one is good stewardship. And by that, I simply mean doing the best and being generous with what you've been given, whether it's your time, whether it's your talents, your gifts, your personality, your compassion, your empathy, whatever you've got, being generous with other people and doing it with integrity, because I want to get in my bed at night and put my head on my pillow and there not to be a gap between who I am in that moment and who I was during the day.
That's success.
That's success. And it's growing, and it's something you don't get there and get a trophy. Nobody gives you a cup. You do it every day.
Anne, thank you.
You're very welcome.